Okay, it's the great Hilary Knight. Welcome to Hockey North.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for jumping on. Really appreciate it. So the first thing I've got to ask you, obviously, brand new team this year. What's it like leading a new team in Seattle? What's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, the city speaks for itself. The fans speak for themselves. I mean, it's incredible atmosphere at Climate Pledge Arena. But in terms of the girls in the locker room, like we're all experiencing this for the first time together, and it's super special. It's also like a lot of work trying to like build something from scratch, right? But I can't think of a better group to be able to do that with than the one that we have right now.
Yeah, and just, discovering the city. When I went to Seattle, I think my favorite thing and the thing I was also most repulsed by is that wall of gum. Have you been there yet? Have you got to see it?
Yes, and we actually one of our media tours in the summer, which it was such an incredible time to get out there and do all the touristy things, and they made us like blow a bubble and stick the gum on there, and I was like, I feel very conflicted right now because I don't usually leave my gum in public areas on a wall. So, but no, I mean, there's so many little unique features to the city. We were super excited. I think it was like the end of November to see sort of the salmon journey and them swimming upstream and just little things like that. That if you're not from the Pacific Northwest, it's fun to go out and explore. And obviously, if you're from there, just the terrain and it's just so beautiful and such a great city. And I'd always heard about it being a sports city, but then to actually feel that and be, a competitor in that city is incredible. Like it's a tremendous amount of support. So we're really fortunate that our fans continue to show up for us in the way that they do that.
That's great. Well, you heard it here first. Hilary Knight's gum is on the wall, so maybe we'll have some fans out there trying to find that. I know this is your last Olympic Games. What goes through your mind when you think about that?
Honestly, just a lot of gratitude. I think when I was thinking about, is this the last one? It could go two ways for me, right? It could be, you're gripping things so tightly because you don't want to let it go, or you could just let it ride. And fortunately, I've just been letting it ride and flowing with sort of the ebbs of what's coming. But yeah, I really like our team. I've loved my time being around high performance rooms. There's so much inspiration in our room. And, I know the hockey piece and the competitive piece is going to take care of itself. And, the rest is just bonus, right? To be able to go to the Olympics, to be, part of Team USA, to represent your country. I mean, what an incredible honor, what an incredible opportunity. And to have an opportunity to do that 5 times, I'm just really grateful. There's been so many people along this journey that have gotten me to where I am now, and I'm extremely grateful for their support and continued support. So it's really just to be able to have different moments of reflection and fill my heart in that way. But yeah, and then when the puck drops, I mean it's going to be electric. So really looking forward to it.
And I know we've talked about this before, but that, victory you had in 2017 and in that, battle for, for what you deserve from USA Hockey, where does that rank,
Yeah,
as you're looking back on things that
pretty
you've been able
pretty
to
high up
accomplish?
there, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think for many years we were just missing pieces to be able to compete the way that we wanted to on the world stage, and to come together, to throw everything on the line, to stand up for something bigger than ourselves was the most empowering thing I've ever done. And I'd like to think that experience helped fuel our resilience to ideate and to create a CBA and to now play in what we call the PWHL. So I don't know if we would be where we are today on the professional standpoint without that equitable support battle, but obviously there are many pieces of that puzzle before 2017 that took place, and individuals that really carried the game and carried the sport on their shoulders. But for me to have that experience was incredibly empowering and refreshing, and really opened my eyes at what you can do when you come together as a collection of strong women.
Yeah. And, a lot of people are probably wondering too, obviously this is your last Olympics, but what does that mean for your hockey career at large? Do you intend to keep playing for the national team, and in the PWHL as well?
Yeah, I would love to. As long as I'm contributing to our group and having a lot of fun doing it. I would love to continue to keep playing. I know my professional career, I've said that, although I did sign a 1 year in Seattle, it's not my intention to only play 1 year. I would love to play multiple years in Seattle. So we'll see how everything kind of shakes out at the end of the year. There's a lot of buzz and talk about what's going on, but I want to be in Seattle. And I'll make that very clear to our fans, because it's just the support, what we're doing, what we're building is just so special and so incredible. And I'm incredibly honored to be a part of that.
And for our, Canadian viewers, we are a Canadian show, so a lot of folks will have memories of, those Canada-US battles that you've had over so many years at the Olympics. And when I think of that, I think of you on the American side. I think of Marie-Philippe Poulin on the Canadian side. Do you remember the first time that you faced off?
I don't. However, I feel like it's been forever. I think two players coming up on dueling nations with this incredible rivalry, being able to step into the spotlight and really carry that rivalry forward and kind of go back and forth. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for her and what she's been able to do. And obviously, she's an amazing player, and it's just so much fun. And that's what you want, right? You want those high level, high octane competitive games. And I feel like the fans really feel a part of that rivalry. We sure do when we're on the ice. And I think it's so special to have that focus and to have players that are so good to continue to push the envelope and push the pace and bring the game and usher it into a new level.
Yeah, I think, maybe a lot of new hockey fans might not know that you were teammates in the Canadian Women's Hockey League with Les Canadiennes. And I think about that team and kind of what could have been in 2019 had that league not folded. But yeah, what else do you think of when you think back to being teammates with her that season?
You kind of come to the realization that, we're on the biggest stages, we're dueling it out, we're, crazy competitors, whatever. And then we're also doing the same things and we're trying to accomplish the same goals. And there's so much things that we share than differences. And to be able to celebrate those things is really special.
Yeah, and you've been part of a lot of different chapters within USA Hockey, a lot of different teams. There are a lot of really young, skilled players on the team that's going to be going to Italy this next year. What can you tell us about them, and what can we expect from that team?
I'm so excited for everyone to experience, who we have in our room, right? And we have a lot of young faces. We have our veteran core as well. We've got some crazy amount of creativity and skill that we've been able to develop the last few years and get people sort of on senior team, national team berths to get them experience of what it means to play at this level, because it is quite a significant jump. And I'm excited for people to, see Layla's game on a broader scale. Tessa is another one. I mean, you can kind of go through our roster, and that gets me a little jazzed up to be like, all right, here we go. This is your first sort of Olympic berth. But yeah, they're going to take the world by storm, and I can't be more excited for them.
I think of Abby Murphy as one player who, Canadian fans might not know very well yet. Obviously, she's not in the PWHL yet, but I think they'll know her name by the end of the Olympics. Where does she rank for you in terms of kind of maybe one of the most annoying players who's played in women's hockey?
She's going to be one of the better players. I think, obviously she's super young in her career. She already has Olympic experience, but I think the first game she was just scratching the surface. And, her game has just taken so many steps recently. I'm scared for the professional league. She is quite the fire that she's got in her, and really can get under people's skin, but can back it up with her level of play and can continue to push the pace. I think we're seeing that cheat code sort of it right now with the Gophers, right? But yeah, she is I'm excited for sort of her career trajectory, and I don't want to put extra pressure, but she's a great player. And I hope people really keep an eye on her, just because the different ways that she's implementing her skill set into the game, especially at the international level, is super special.
And your partner Brittany is going to be at the Olympics as well. And I've seen on social media that you do a bit of training together in the summer. What have you taken from her, whether it's sort of how she trains or other ways that she sort of prepares as an athlete? Are there things you've taken that you brought into your game or your routine over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, she's like the most dialed athlete I've ever met. And maybe that's because, I come from sort of like the team background, but she's more like data driven individual against a clock, and there's no room for error, right? And our game is more minimizing mistakes, but there's going to be a lot of them. So it's been interesting to, one, just learn about her sport and how she trains for that sport. But then I guess two, just being a support system for one another, because at the end of the day, we're doing, our respective sports at the highest level. And so that's like something that we share. But yeah, I was able to get in the speed factory and train and, prepare for the season. But she's quite an inspiration to watch from like a training standpoint, and obviously a great human that I'm really lucky to have a partnership with and her in my corner.
That's awesome. Has she played some shinny or anything like that?
Yeah,
Like, could you
yeah.
recruit her to?
I would a couple times, not recently. This is maybe like a couple years ago. I didn't have anyone to skate with, so I was like, "Oh, would you hop on the ice?" And we were doing like sort of like 1v1. So she's got a basketball kind of background, so it's just kind of going back and forth. And she can move on skates, like hockey skates. She can't really stop and start, right, or turn right, but she can get going pretty quickly. So yeah, it's been fun to teach her hockey as well and all the rules. And I think that was kind of the first time I really realized like how complicated our sport is. That I was like, wait, like these are, we have our own sort of language, it's like we have our own slang. It's very interesting and different. So it's been really fun to kind of peel back the different layers and just have fun and kind of embrace what we do.
Yeah. You didn't make her go in net. You didn't throw her in net or anything like that.
No.
Take shots at her.
No, that would be tough.
Thanks for your time, Hilary. I really appreciate it. I know you've got a busy season ahead of you, but all the best in Italy.
Thank you very much.